It's the Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast.
Hello and welcome to this week's Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast episode 148. You poor people, you've suffered this long and we're still going to be going. So over in the corner, in the far left corner, in the other box over there, is my co-host, presenter Coquelad. Please check out his channel, full of comedy and radio shows, and it's cool and it's doing very well. And I'm by the gods of science fiction. My name is Martin, and I don't exactly know what I do. I just cover the obscure and stuff that people don't really remember and acquire a whole knowledge on crap. So there you go. Welcome to this week's show.
Good. I kept as quiet as I possibly could while you were giving your announcement, because I tend to talk over your announcements, and it's not fair because you're trying to build us up and make us sound like, well, not sound. We are just wonderful co-hosts and a wonderful podcast. How are you? How are you this week?
Fantastic view. That is a fantastic view.
What's the weather like where you are?
Great. It rained this morning, and it's humid, grey clouds.
Yeah, because we can see cloud inland. Often you get cloud inland, and we get sort of like the blue sky here. So,
but superb view.
Thank you. Yeah.
Do you get does the tide coming up to your house then? Do you have like a beach? Is that an inlet or is it an ocean?
No, there's a sort of like a lawn area in front of the house, and it's about 5 steps, and then you go down to some rocks where the sea is. So it's very, very nearby. It's very,
does
very
the sea come up to the like?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you got the lawn, and then you've got the rocks just past there.
Okay.
But it's very, very close. You know, I mean, it's
cool.
It's really, well, like I said, it's a great place to live. So we're very...
No, I'm not. I'm just curious. I wondered that. Could you moor a boat up outside?
Oh yeah. I mean, there are boats up here. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got a little kayaky thing already. So and of course you can just go to areas nearby very easily, and it's good. It's really good. So in the future, unfortunately, we're still sort of like when you move house, you don't have much money for a while afterwards. So we're just going along with it. We're not going to have any grand holidays this year or anything. But
I don't think many people are going to be on
grand
holidays this year.
Yeah, but some people still do. Let me actually just while I'm thinking about people with grand lifestyles, what do you think about, as we're recording, about this submarine which is
I was
lost?
just about to mention that right now.
Oh, there we are. You thought exactly what I was thinking, because it's a big thing,
I've been
isn't it?
following it. The billionaire guy
was
British, and the Indian guy was a mogul, and his son and 3 other people.
Yeah.
And they hired a futuristic mini submarine and went down to Titanic and disappeared.
It's awful.
I hope they find them. They've got 96 hours of oxygen reserve.
I think it's terrifying, because by the laws of averages, they should be at the moment alive, but nobody can find them, and they'll be aware that they've got. Obviously, the oxygen's running out. I think they've got like 70 hours left or something. Can you imagine being down there?
96.
Yeah, but I mean that was yesterday.
That's
yesterday.
70, yeah.
Oh yeah, so it's going down. That's what I'm saying. So, I just think
I don't know. How far? It's like 3 miles down in it or something.
Something like that. It's
very,
very
like
far down.
It's thousands of feet down, isn't it? 12,000.
I don't know how far down it is. It's a long way away.
Don't know. And it takes 8 hours to get down. I mean, just to rescue, it's going to take 8 hours to get people down there. Do they have to depressurize when they come up then?
You mean like, otherwise they're going to get the bends, isn't it? It's the bends you get if you don't depressurize. I don't know. I assume so.
Well, they are.
I would have thought so if they're that far down.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know that like all rig workers, the divers that work on, they go into chambers, don't they?
Yes.
To get normalised.
Yeah.
So I don't know, unless the submarine, as it's coming up, depressures itself.
Maybe
slowly.
If it goes up slow enough, then the body will have time to adjust. I think it's only if you come up really fast that it can mess you up.
That's what I mean, yeah.
I think so. I'm not entirely. I had to watch some Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. That probably explain that to me.
Totally fascinating, though, isn't it?
Well, I was thinking that technically, if this does actually become a tragedy, then technically the Titanic has claimed another 5 victims 110 years after the last victims. I know it sounds
That's what I mean.
morbid, but it's quite. This is
No,
actually
it's
quite a
right.
big thing.
It's right. It's right. What you're saying. I mean, what if they never find them?
Yeah, it could be, and it could be another
You
thing
know, they
that,
might have disappeared.
yeah, and they might not discover it for decades, and suddenly that you know, I don't know. I know we're looking too
Yeah.
far ahead, but he does. I know it's quite an unusual storyline. So when I heard about that,
It's somehow it's like a movie, isn't it?
yeah,
like
it's
one of them.
you don't get that on conventional news. So
Would you go down there? Would you go
No.
down in one of them?
I'd be too scared. I'd be terrified. I wouldn't go down there.
I had a mate of mine. He did a parachute jump last week.
Oh, I couldn't do that either. I'm not.
You know,
not good at heights
parachute.
either.
His first time. No, I ain't done it. And I asked him. I said, "Well, what was it like?" He said, "My adrenaline were all over the place."
Yeah.
He was tied to somebody. He said, I
God,
said,
oh,
"What was it
no,
like?"
no.
He said, "Your stomach is like. Do you know what I mean?" He said it's an experience, but I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I'd
no,
be
I don't think
terrified.
it was. I wouldn't do it. I'm not very adventurous with things like that anyway. So I think that.
I don't know, Jake. I mean, it'd be fascinating, though, wouldn't it? I mean, would you go up to International Space Station? Would you do that?
If the
I mean, it's quite dodgy getting
if
up
it was
there, isn't
yeah, I
it,
was going to say if
really?
it was reliable. I mean, if it's like going on a plane, which to me is as scary as anything, I will go on a plane because they're relatively safe. It's not the
Yeah.
case with going into space. It's still very, very dodgy. And so, no, I don't think like I said, in the future I might do. I mean, you know, I've got the feeling that developments in space travel are going to increase with, you know, we're going to be having a sort of like revolution, I think, with technology in the next couple of
Yeah.
decades with all the stuff of AI, which at the moment we are sort of loosely focusing on. So I think that, you know, in our lifetimes, I think there could be a lot more space travel, even in the next couple of decades, if things accelerate, which I think might happen. So, yeah. Any other news that you got your end? I haven't got much apart from you talked about Foundation. You said that we've.
I'd just like to say thank you to two friends of mine, if that's okay.
Go for it, please.
The film we made between the three of us, let's thank you both. It got shown at a premiere film festival in New York on Monday.
Oh, fantastic!
And it's only 4 minutes long. We're a horror film, and I'd just like to thank them both for putting the time and effort in. So
Brilliant.
I'm quite happy about this, you know. So,
So
that's it. I'd just like to thank Julie and Craig for doing that.
I mean, obviously you don't have to decide now, but if you wanted it featured on our show, just to show it off to other people, let me know. I'll be happy to show it off, just to get it out there.
Yeah, no, I've got it. It is on YouTube. It's on private, but the thing is at the moment, because I've got 4 films in at these festivals.
Right.
They don't like you releasing them onto YouTube
That's
straight
fine.
away.
That's fine. In the future, bring it back when in the future.
No, I will
Yep.
send you a copy, and
And of course I won't.
And
And of course I won't show it anywhere until I get your permission. But yeah, I wish you every success.
I will send you a poster of me as well, fully signed.
Well, I could Photoshop you a graphic if you wanted. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
well,
I could get some
yeah.
screen grabs and I could do a logo. And I'm relatively good at all this stuff, as you probably see. with all the stuff
that's
I'm
why
doing,
it's called building a collective of people with certain talents, and
Yeah, I'd love to help out. Seriously.
you pull upon them, and
Yeah. But
definitely,
obviously,
no, that sounds good.
that goes without saying.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd love to do a graphic for you if it becomes something which
Yeah.
you want to show off.
That'd be
cool.
It's amateur level film festival. It's not going to Hollywood.
Yeah, but if you've got a good thumbnail, if you've got a good visual graphic, it helps to get people your way. You know, so.
That's true.
You never know.
How things been going? We were both with it last week. Well,
Yeah, I feel a bit
think
better.
we're
I got woken up last night. We had a sort of mild thunderstorm about 5 o'clock in the morning this morning. So
Okay.
that. So I'm a bit better than I was last week, but I don't know whether it's just I'm just not used to all the warm weather. But I've just felt a bit out of sorts. I felt a bit better than last week though. Definitely better than last.
yeah, I do. Yeah, I think I'm
So
coming back into. I went on a downer last week. I was just a bit tired, you know.
yeah, I felt really out of sync last week. I don't know why. You know, sometimes you just have a little period where you have a sort of a bit of a blip, and
Yeah.
it's not necessarily specific for anything. It's just you just don't feel quite yourself, and you just have to get through it. And I think I'm getting through. I feel a lot better than last week. I still think last week's show was good, but this week will be better.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. It was good. It's funny, we've been on a bit of a science journey over the last few weeks, haven't we? Really?
Well,
Like covering
well, now we're
the
sort of
50s
AI.
and AI
It was the 50s, and now it's more AI. And now this film was made in 2004, which is another reference to AI, which is why I thought about it. So we've had a slight sort of like link, like an arc.
Yeah,
in
and
recent
then
episodes.
Meteor.
Yeah, Meteor, which is that's not really its AI, but it's another classic which we're going to focus on next
You
week.
know,
Go on.
Do you know, I saw Armageddon with this girl who we're going out with years ago, you know.
Yeah.
And it was all right. It wasn't a bad film. And then they did the other one, which bothered me shitless.
Yeah, there was
Deep
two. There was
Impact.
one which was really boring,
There were two, weren't there?
and I can never remember which one is which.
Yeah. One's with Bruce Willis. That just gets on you, know. It just
Is that the
over
boring one?
emotion.
Is that the boring one?
No, the boring one I think is Deep Impact.
Oh.
You know, I think that's for the comic. You know,
I just
and
can't
they
remember
did these sort of films. But I watched Meteor the other day,
I like that film.
and
Good film.
I watched it, and you know, I enjoyed that more than them.
It's got something about it. I like the cast
It was
in
the
it.
politics.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
the politics
Russia
in it.
and America, and all about how they
Yeah,
had
it,
to.
but all that
We're
where one
going to
side
talk
was
about that next
denying.
week. Yeah, next week
Yeah,
we've got
you're
to talk
right.
about
Sorry,
that.
going off.
No,
going
but
off script.
it's a good movie, and this is why we talked about it off air.
yeah.
For the film that review that one.
But I will say,
What's that?
I did watch. I didn't get to watch it till Saturday.
Okay.
It's New Wales and.
Tell me, what did you think about that episode 1?
I don't know. After I got really amped on the last series, I've got to admit I did really enjoy the episode.
I liked it a
was
lot.
Interesting
I liked it a lot.
how he took a back seat
Yeah.
and Spock stealing the ship to save her.
Yeah.
I found interesting.
I did too.
I'm not gonna. It were different. It were different for the first episode. I really did enjoy it, and I think it were good. He took a back seat for one episode.
Why not? It's I mean,
Do
it's.
you know what I mean? I thought, and it worked. I like the Klingons. I finally got
didn't
some
they look
decent
good? Didn't
bloody
they look?
Klingons.
They
yeah.
look really good.
Yeah.
They look slightly different. Although their heads look slightly more rubbery, I thought, than perhaps the United. But
Yeah,
they
they
still
did.
look.
Yeah, I
They look
noticed that.
slightly rubbery
Yeah.
in certain rather than they did in TNG and everything else. But I'm happy with these. I can live with these. And we saw a D7 as well, and we saw a Crossfield variant ship as well, which is like the Discovery, but it had a different back and stuff like that. With,
Yeah.
it was really good. It's really
I
solid.
liked. You know, it was interesting.
Did you like the new chief engineer, Kara?
Yeah, I did. I thought she was funny.
She was great. She was just like she was in Scrooged as the Ghost of Christmas Present, which is like a fairy.
Oh, is that her? I know
Yeah,
you're
that's
the
her.
fairy.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, that's
I
her.
thought I know her.
Yeah, and she's also in Taxi in the 80s with Christopher Lloyd and all that rest.
Right.
And Judd Hirsch, which I'm a big fan of Taxi, and she was in that as Balky's girlfriend. I think that's
Yeah.
his name. So, but yeah, I like her. She's great. I hope
Yeah,
she
did
sticks
you
with
say Mabenga?
it. Yeah. What about him?
What happened to him? I mean, he was just on then. He turned into this like,
That strange steroid stuff that they took.
yeah, he did like.
Yeah, that was a bit
like-
weird. That scene. That was the only scene I didn't like about it.
I
It's a
thought
bit,
he would have man a piece then. When the war and 100 million dead, and I get that, but I mean, he was. You saw this like darker side to him. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Which
Well, yeah, but you saw a
I
bit of that.
found
When,
interesting.
you saw a bit of that in season 1 when he was trying to save his daughter, didn't you? He was stuck in the transporter.
Yeah,
So-
you did.
So it
Yeah,
was a little
yeah.
bit of a reference to that.
Yeah.
Great solid start. Good visual.
I'll tell you, a scene I liked is when Spock, his emotions are out now.
Yeah, he's got. He has
when
lost
she
control of it.
walks
hasn't he?
in,
Yeah.
yeah, she walks in and scanner goes up. You know the scanner,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like, yeah, I think that there's gonna be a full-on thing going on with these two.
That doesn't. That clashes the continuity. That clashes the
Yeah, but
continuity.
she was in love with him now, wasn't she?
Yeah, but it was never. It was
Even
never.
in 60s one.
And also at this point, she should be with Dr. Richard Corby. She was engaged to a guy. The guy
Oh yeah.
So where's
Yeah,
that?
the
Have you thought
robot
about
guy,
that?
the
Yeah,
robot-
the robot guy. Where's he?
Forgot about that.
You see, I know.
Yeah,
this is what I'm
that's totally
saying. Richard Corby,
Yeah,
the
you're
one
right,
that was
because
the
they went
androids.
down
Ruck.
to that present.
Yes,
they
with
took her,
Ruck and
didn't
everything.
they?
Yes. Where's
That
that?
planet.
That would be about now. That would be about the time that we're in.
Yeah, well,
So where's that? Well, where's that storyline gone? You see,
I don't
forgot about that one, didn't you? Eh?
know.
And you call yourself a Trekkie, Martin. You let the side down big time.
I'm gonna go stand on the naughty step now.
That's all right. I'll let you off. If you give me a week off from Baywatch, then you won't have to go on the naughty step. How does that sound?
Okay then.
All right. Any other news before we go into our focus of the week?
Yeah, there's a new science fiction series. I've not seen something called Moon something.
Oh, okay.
It's
I've not
on
heard that.
Netflix. They're making a big thing. Moon. They're making a big thing about it.
Oh, and I saw the first episode of Black Mirror season 6, which was really,
how was
really
that?
good. Really good.
Is that on
storyline.
Netflix?
Yes, it's on Netflix. It is.
It's
isn't
not on Channel 4 then.
No, it's on
Oh,
Netflix. And the
good.
first episode was really, really clever. It was let's just say it's a woman who she's in the office and I think she's having an affair or something, and then suddenly she's watching their version of Netflix, which is something called Streamflix or something, and
Yeah.
it's her life about 10 hours behind where she is in her time, with Selma Hayek as playing her. And it's a really, really clever thing because all of her life is being replicated in this series. And it's just really clever. And I loved it. Very, very good
Alright.
sci-fi concept. You'd love it, Martin, I promise you. Watch episode 1 at least. I think you'll really like it. But I'm sure
Right, well, no, I saw The Flash.
Oh, yeah. But how was that like? Any good?
It's bombed. It flopped.
Oh, did it? Is that the one with Batman appears in,
Yes,
with
yeah.
Michael Keaton?
Yeah, Michael. Yeah.
Oh, so...
It's
what
so
do you-
I enjoyed it. I mean, it's all right. I mean, CGI is fucking terrible. I mean, you know when they overdo stuff with CGI, and
It's just like, it's just like rubbish. It's just like,
you
I know
can't
what you mean.
smudge. Is it like smudgy? or
Splodgy,
something?
splodgy. It's kind of like got not defined.
Splodgy, smudgy,
Yeah, it's like
splodgy,
cartoony, sort of like Yeah, I know what you mean. I hate bad
Yeah,
CGI.
I can't say it just and I mean, we're all right when I say all these characters and but it were like I don't know. I think it went over what it should have done. It were good, but I don't know. There was something just slightly off with it.
So like, yeah. I've heard that
Do you know what I mean?
I've heard that the new Indiana Jones films apparently is going to be a flop as well. Apparently, it's not very good either. So.
Well, it's been leaked, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, I don't know if has it been leaked. I didn't know that. But I know
Yeah,
people
no, it's
who've seen it.
official. Somebody, one a reviewer on YouTube, he mentioned what happened a couple of months ago, but it's been leaked from one at test audiences.
Oh,
Apparently, it's a bit annoying actually. Whether if this is right, I mean, I could mention it now.
Well,
No.
let's just say let's because some people might not. All I'll say is I know that the first 20 minutes is like a CGI Harrison
Yep,
Ford.
you're
set
on
in
the right track,
40s,
yep.
and then it goes into about 1969.
Yeah, it does, yep.
And that's all I know about it. I think I'll save the spoilers because even I want to see. But do you know all the spoilers? Do you know exactly what happens then?
If it's what's been said about it, if it's right, we won't know till end of next week.
Okay.
But if it is, I would expect. I don't know. I would expecting something a bit. Something. You see, first one with Ark and all that, it was spectacular.
Yeah.
You know, and if they're gonna do this, we're ending. It's a bit. I don't know. Like I said, I'm like you. I sit on the fence, wait until I've seen it. I might end up thinking this is amazing because I've heard they've done reshoots on it, so not too sure.
There's been some new Doctor Who actors involved coming along, and it still looks like it's going to be a complete circus. It looks absolutely terrible. I really
There was some.
what?
Oh, sorry. Go on.
No. What are you going to say?
you
Go
were
on.
saying.
No, I was just.
Well, I saw JPEG for the video, his regeneration's been leaked about how he goes from Tenant to him.
Oh, all right. So
Apparently, they're meant to meet each other as well. They both meet each other, so I don't know how that's going to
how do they do that then? Oh, that's weird.
Well, I don't know.
Maybe it's like the Watcher. Do you remember
Maybe
the
they
Watcher?
meet inside their head. Maybe it meets inside his head or something.
Yeah, but do you remember in the four
I
to
don't know.
five, we saw the Watcher, who was the future incarnation, which I thought was really clever. So maybe that's just something completely different from.
I assume that's how they. I don't know. I mean, I'm sat on the fence. So I've got a feeling they're going to fuck it up.
I've got the feeling as well. It looks terrible.
It's like we've got all this amazing stuff that's coming. It's like the Flash, right? Like for me, I'm a big superhero fan.
Yeah,
I love DC. I love DC and Marvel.
Yeah.
Marvel, I just don't have time for now.
I never got into
it's
DC
like-
stuff. I've never been a Batman fan, but
Yeah, and sort of DC were a bit of the underdog, so my support went there quite a bit. And they spent 350 million on this thing.
so how come it's
Right,
got such
and
bad
it-
CGI then?
I don't know. It's not the there were just some. It were like. It's like what I'm saying. Not just the Flash. If Indiana Jones is going to go this way, big spectacular, but with a crap story. It's not. But we're getting a lot of this, aren't we? Brand, like big brand movies and $100 million, $1 billion effects, and there's something missing in it. It's so underperforming for what it should be. Star Wars is the same, isn't it? All the effects. I mean, and you say tomorrow a new Marvel series starts.
Oh, that's the one with Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah. I mean, I like his character actually.
It's being panned.
Oh, is it? Again, they're all being. Why are they all being panned?
I don't know, because the people seen this stuff before it gets shown, and they're not happy with
Yeah,
it.
it seems like everything's being panned.
I
now.
mean, I'm gonna watch it because I like.
Yeah, but
Samuel L. Jackson.
yeah. I like Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah. I might even
Basically,
try
it's an
to.
invaders type thing. It's shape-shifting aliens. That's the
But
basics
I
of
couldn't
it,
stand that
you know,
She-Hulk thing. I couldn't stand that. I gave
I'm
it.
a big fan of that.
I know. I
quite
couldn't stand. I
enjoyed
know.
She-Hulk.
Oh, do I remember? I've heard of a series, and I've got actually seen the first one or two episodes of it. The Greatest American Hero. You've ever heard of that?
Yeah,
1970s series.
I know that well. Yeah,
I thought you might.
Have you not seen it?
No, it's this guy with blonde hair, and he's sort of like flying like
yeah,
this.
he gets given
and I
a show
thought-
off aliens.
And I thought, I bet Martin has seen that one, and obviously you have. So I'm going to try some of that. And it's like, oh.
No, it's all right. It's funny. He's this guy. He's the teacher.
Never heard of
and he
it.
gets-
Never heard of
These
it.
aliens give him a Superman suit.
Yeah, and the guy in it who's actually one of the students is the guy that was in.
They forget to give him.
Go on.
Well, they forget to give him the instruction manual.
It looks a bit odd. It looks very cheesy.
Suit on.
Yeah, I might.
It's funny. It's of its time.
Okay. all right.
But he
Well,
left, and then a woman took his place. He
Oh, I
got
didn't
the
know
costume.
that. Oh, really?
I don't know how far that went. Yeah, it might have only been one or two, but
Yeah.
I've not seen them.
No.
But she didn't get he hasn't got the instruction manual. He fights crime.
I need to watch it.
In disastrous ways.
It's one of those things
It's
you
all
need
right.
to watch.
It's very of its time. It's very 80s.
Yeah, I like
you know.
that era anyway, so I might like it. I'm not
I
sure.
do, yeah.
You're more of a superhero fan than I am, so it might be this.
I've been told to recommend to you by a friend of mine that watches this podcast. You've got to start watching Silo.
Silo. I've heard of that.
Yeah. Apparently everybody's screaming about it. It's on Apple TV. And it's all this world set in a massive bunker
Right.
that's got hundreds of floors, but each floor's a different world. And something's not right about the reality. They live in something. And apparently the final episode meant to be spectacular. That's all I know about it. But everybody, they're screaming about this thing.
All right, let's put it on the list. Yeah, thank you for the recommendation. I'll certainly like.
And if
I'm always
it
up
should
for new
appear,
shows.
if it should appear by magic, if I just go abracadabra,
And he just like,
abracadabra,
yeah, zim
I'll watch it.
zalabim, as it were.
yeah. Izzy Wizzy, let's get
Let's get a bit. Yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah, that's the best one, isn't it? Because actually, Apple TV have actually done some good series. They did For All
They have?
Mankind. There was one that Foundation. Wasn't there one that the co-host Tom Julian, who we haven't seen for ages? He told us about, or not us specifically, but he was recommending some weird retro 50s sci-fi series, which is coming along. It looked quite interesting. It had like hover cars and stuff like that, but. I'll have to text him and ask him what it was about, but I know it was coming out at some time quite soon, and it looked quite interesting.
Right.
So, all right, well, let's try that one. Was it Halo?
Silo.
Silo.
Yeah, I've not seen the Halo series. I've not.
No.
seen it.
I mean, that's based on the
Can't
game,
bother
isn't
with
it?
it.
No. I mean, I'm not really normally a fan of shows which are
Yeah.
based on games, apart from The Last of Us, which I recommend. Well, I've just seen the first episode of The Walking Dead: Dead City. Very, very
is
good.
it? Yeah,
Very
but
good.
is that without Negan in that?
Negan. Have you heard of Negan? You
Yeah.
know about Negan?
Yeah,
Oh,
I know about Negan.
Oh yeah, he's in it with Maggie.
Seen some
and,
of it.
well, they're both in it, and because you know
Oh.
what Negan did to Maggie's husband, don't you? Did you know about that?
No.
Oh, I won't say
I
that.
know who he is with the baseball bat. and
Oh,
the-
basically,
well,
she bashed his head in.
sequence.
Yeah, which was pretty scary when that came out. It was the darkest scene I thought of that.
I thought before we move on, I thought they'd finished Walking Dead. I thought that was
They finished this.
final.
This is like they've got some weird sequels now because the series finished with season 11, and they've got
Right.
this. They've got about 3 separate new shows which have splintered off. They've
Yeah,
got
there's
this
one on Amazon.
Oh no, that's different. That's Fear the Walking Dead. That's another series. Plus,
Oh, right.
plus there's Tales from the Walking
Yeah.
Dead. There's loads of it. It's like a whole
Bloody
huge
hell.
world. I love it. I love
Right,
all of it.
okay.
I love apocalyptic stuff.
Right, fair enough.
But that's good. Episode 1 was really good. I recommend that as well.
Yeah.
And that's all I've seen which is new this week. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Right. On that note, shall we go on up to our focus of the week?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. It's an interesting one. Here we go.
It's the
Solar Sci-Fi.
focus of the week.
All right, so we're back, and this week we are going to be focusing on a film from 2004. It is another Will Smith film, and I've realised we've actually featured about 5 Will Smith films in our show over the last 3.5 years, and this is the latest one. And it is, of course, I, Robot, which is a 2004 American science fiction action film directed by Alex Proyas, screenplay by Jeff Vintar and Akira Goldsmith is in it. Akiva Goldsmith. It's from the screenplay by Vintar, based on his original screenplay Hardwired and named after Isaac Asimov's 1950 short story collection. The film stars Will Smith in the main role, Bridget Moynihan, Bruce Greenwood, who of course played Christopher Pike, James Cromwell, who of course played Zephyr Cochrane, and some other people there. And it says in 2035, highly intelligent robots fill public service positions throughout the dystopian world, operating under 3 rules to keep humans safe. Detective Del Spooner, Will Smith, investigates the alleged suicide of US robotics founder Alfred Lanning, James Cromwell, and believes that the human-like robot called Sunny actually murdered him. So this was a big film when it came out. What did you think of it, Martin?
How would you say? It's an amazing film.
What did you like about it?
Well, it's based on the book, isn't it?
Yeah.
And from that book, you got the 3 rules of robots.
Yes, that's right.
Defined all science today, did that book on that. Shall not take a human life, shall protect human life, and there's another one, I think I might. There's 3 of them, there's 3 laws of robotics.
As I watched this, I was reminded of the rules in RoboCop, the original movie. And I wondered whether RoboCop nicked the same idea. Yeah, I wonder whether they took the idea from that and used it in that series of films.
Well, it was Asimov when he wrote I, Robot. He created these. I forgot what the 3. I think one of them sound. You can't take human life. You got to put it before you. It's like the highest directive. There were 3 directives, and even scientists today they stick with these 3 directives, and that's where the film goes into the thing with the supercomputer, the AI,
Right.
that defies that.
It was another. What was interesting about it is, as I watched it again, of course, it was going back to all the AI things we've been talking about recently, where again it was artificial intelligence as a danger to humanity. And I think what I've learned over the last few weeks of doing this with you, with all these different films that we've been doing, is that obviously a lot of people in the past haven't predicted what is potentially might be happening in the present. There's a lot of dangers with all this stuff going on. So it is quite interesting how, maybe this is partly why a lot of people in contemporary news in development and technology are worried, because there's been so many predictions in the past of how AI could be potentially very, very dangerous for us as for humanity as a collective kind of thing. So, I mean, this film, of course, it was made in 2004 and it was set in 2035, which is only 12 years away from the time of recording. So they might have got things a little bit too close to where they were making it. I mean,
scary, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I personally think that, I don't know, I mean, it's not going to be like this in 2035. We're not going to have robots walking around and stuff like that soon, are we? Well, do you think so? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. No, the problem, they can make them walk around. I mean, they have.
I've seen one or two. Yeah, I have seen one or two.
The problem is they're constantly plugged in all the time. The power. I saw something about where they had one in a forest or something, and it were like being trained in a forest. Walking through a forest, and his power pack ran out after an hour. They had to change it. Oh, it might be 2 hours. It's not long. That's
going to change. I mean, look at iPhone batteries. I mean, when they first went out, this thing I've got is iPhone 13 Pro Max, and it lasts. It's got a good battery. It goes on for ages, and even compared to although of course the thing is, the batteries, they do tend to have not a very long-term life. Literally, they get shorter. The power consumption, whatever. But I mean, it seems like one of the things that in contemporary life that they're going to need more is things like electric cars. You're going to need things where batteries last longer, and this is something with AI.
I went to see this play last week. It was about the environment.
Right.
With a friend, and it was all about, where everything's going and what's what. It was very political. And it was all right. It was written by young people, and if they put that together, it was very impressive. I went with a friend of mine, and at the end of it, they had a Q&A, and they had this very posh climate demonstrator guy on. He was he'd been with that Extinction Rebellion, but he'd sort of moved on from them, but then gone back to them. And it was all about him, and they just put him on us, and he was talking about what he was doing, which I thought fair enough, but he was he was very, very middle class,
right?
Really, well spoken, and audience said, "Have you got any questions?" And I asked him 2 questions.
Oh, okay. What did you ask him?
This is related, but I said, well, you're going on about. I agree, the science. It's all going somewhere. I'm not going to deny the science. Of course it worries. There's another generation. I get that. But I asked him about AI, and he was so against it.
Really?
And I was surprised, because I said, surely with artificial intelligence, that, once it's unleashed, because it's out of the box now anyway.
Yeah, it's too late. It's already too late.
It's coming. Too late. It's gone past the 3 markers, and it's out. It's coming, and that's it. But surely, with that type of technology, we're going to be able to solve a hell of a lot of problems, especially with the environment. And he was so against it, and I'm quite taken aback by that. And I said to him, "Why?" He said, "Oh, because it's all lithium, and it's going to." I said, "Yeah, but it won't be, because I said it'll be living within the internet."
Yeah.
It won't need batteries. It'd be moving around everywhere.
Because everyone's got it. It's all connected.
And he wasn't having it. He's like, and I came to the conclusion, I thought, if you had your way, we'd go back to horse and cart. And I'm not
some people want to go. Some people want to go that way. Yeah, some people want to
Yeah,
go
but
that
he
way.
was saying, "Oh no, it's gonna." Yeah, but I said, and he won't have it. And I said to him, "He were younger than me." I said, "Look, I said you've got to see the potential in this.
Mm.
I know there's the dark side to it, but also there is a positive side to this,
Well,
and
isn't
it
it?
will solve a lot of problems like the environment. AI, it's. I'm a big proponent for it.
Oh,
I
are you?
know
I mean,
there's
you
gonna-
are a proponent for it, are you?
I am to a point. I know, but I think it's got to be introduced slowly because, well, it's
Well, isn't
going
this?
to affect jobs and things like that, isn't it?
I'm thinking about the last two examples of something which is groundbreaking and changed our lives. The two in our lifetimes
internet.
are the internet and
Yeah, well,
these bloody
yeah.
things, iPhones.
Yeah, yeah, oh,
Now, both of them have got a lot of good aspects. Both of them have got a lot of bad
yeah,
aspects.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
So,
of course.
what the interesting thing to theorize in the future is when AI is integral to our life in whatever capacity that will be, what will be the good aspects of that future and what will be the bad aspects of that future? What will be the things which we think, oh, thank God. Do you remember the days before we had this? You know, the same as, you know, we used to, the days before we could just ring up anybody or do anything and do the stuff that we're doing. But then we get the negative things like social media, get people who literally live with these things like my family, especially teenagers, who literally
Yeah.
all day long, all the time, they just don't, they
Yeah,
just
that,
literally...
that generation, that's normal to them.
Yeah, but
They're
it's not
born
normal
into
to us.
this.
I know, that's what
It's
I'm
not
saying.
normal to you or me.
What about
It's
their
like-
kids? What will it be like when they have their
That's
kids?
what I mean, yeah.
And I wonder what their aspect of, you know, it's because it's more, this is all going back to, AI is a factor of it. It's all becoming more kind of integral to technology. You know, it's almost like the Borg. You know, it's like how technology is becoming more and more entwined into our lives. You know, and like I said, you get teenagers. My family of teenagers are a perfect example where all they do, especially my daughter, she cannot put this phone down for more than 5 seconds. You know, we try and watch stuff in the evenings, and all I can hear her doing is, I say, look, this is a great part of this film or something, and she's still going, and she's like, oh, I've got to send this message, and then it goes back, and then you get the pings. I thought, well, just don't bother watching the film. You know, you can't do two things at once. If you want to watch a good film, when I want to watch a good film, like iRobot, which I know we're going on a slight tangent, we all talk about iRobot, but
No, we
you
are.
want to
but-
put it down. You want to put the phone down, sit down, maybe have something to eat, and just embrace the film and see what it's about. And what the whole point is, everything from the visual aspect, the acting, the sound, the editing. That to me is why, you know, I hate people who don't watch a film properly. If you're going
Yeah.
to sit down and watch a film, you sit down, you put the phone down, maybe give it a very quick glance, maybe half an hour or something, but you don't sit there texting at the same time when you're missing all these elements, because sometimes you need to see stuff, you need to see things in the background.
Maybe
You know,
you just might have answered a big question if by saying that.
what's that?
Seriously, you know these films like the big CD. You know when we were on about the effects and
CGI.
they look smudgy and all that, and they cost hundreds of millions. Maybe like for our age, and I'm not being like ageist at all, but maybe like when you and I go see a film, we'll sit there, we'll turn his phone off and sit there for 3 hours and watch it.
Properly embrace it, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When I watched Strange New Worlds, I
Oh,
put my
me
phone on
too. I
silent,
sat down.
you know,
That was
said
it. This was a big moment. I sat down. I loved every second of it.
Phone me after, because I'll be phoning you about what I've just watched. But maybe like I've noticed it's like I'm not. I mean, I think I'm sort of computer savvy to a point, but you know, like TikTok and all this sort of stuff. I've got it on my phone. I've watched the odd video.
I can't
but
do TikTok. I can't deal with it.
It's like I've noticed that maybe our attention spans have been shortened now. Do you know what I mean?
No, I think that's why there's discontinuity with TikTok. TikTok to me is only good for for someone the attention span of a goldfish. It is
That's what I
literally.
mean, but-
It's like TikTok is like someone going like this, going, "Ugh," and then it repeats.
Yeah,
"Ugh." It's
I mean,
pathetic. It's absolutely
it's like-
crap.
If I've got Stargate, I'll watch Stargate straight
Yeah,
through. Well,
of course you will.
pause. But when I'm like on Netflix, I don't have. I got rid of Netflix last week. 'Cause
I'm
there's
not so.
no-
I do watch it a bit, but I'm not so into Netflix.
Yeah, and
tend to-
I've got Amazon.
I've got very, very specific taste of stuff I
I watch
like.
The Boys.
Oh yeah, I need to see that.
I
need to
only
talk
keep
about that,
Amazon because I only watch Amazon because I buy stuff off it. That's why I've got it.
Yeah.
But I do when I am on it, I spend more time looking through it and watch 5 minutes of the film and think that's crap, and then move on to the next one. Maybe when we go see these big blockbusters, our attention spans, it's just not like it was.
Well, maybe the reason that you're getting shoddy CGI is because people aren't watching their films. So actually, this is rubbish. But if people are sitting there looking at their phones, they don't need to have very good, expensive CGI but that's crap. I mean, people like you and me would be seeing bad CGI and actually saying, "Look, this CGI is shite." So that's not a very good analogy.
Well, I watched an episode at Sweeney, but on YouTube, in 1972, it was about computer crime.
Oh yeah.
And this was 1972, and there was somebody hacking a computer. It must have been the size of a building, right? And Reagan says to his boss, "We need to use the computer to capture." My boss said to him, "I'm going to have to go upstairs to get permission because it costs £4,000 an hour."
Well, to get the text balls going around, yeah. No, it's funny.
Is that right? Is that right?
I know. I don't know much about that sort of era. Actually,
bloody hell! Really?
It might be. It might be, unless it was just a plot element or some sort of like thing to.
But the thing is, with this film, iRobot, all this is connected. I liked iRobot. I don't think it did that well, really. I think people were in and out with it.
I thought it was
but I sort of
solid
enjoyed
film.
it.
I thought it was pretty solid. It was obviously like a crime film, but it wasn't just a crime film. It was again going back to, and this is why we are going on these tangents, because the film is a premise again on AI. It was about these home robots. Like imagine like having I said this before, how in the future we might have that. Imagine you have a robot at home that does the cleaning, does the washing up, does all the chores, and it cannot hurt you.
Yeah.
And of course, they come across this robot where it's got an extra brain or something in it, and it's got it bypasses the three human protection.
The three laws, the three laws, yeah.
And then, of course, this is all really. It wasn't to do with the actual founder, this big businessman, played by the Christopher Pike actor. It was actually the AI technology itself was learning a way to protect humans. It was again, it's a bit like Colossus, the Forbean Project. It's like Skynet. There are a lot of parallels to these films, and I just think that the reason we keep going back to AI is just because we've been so heightened with the news things, and because we've seen so many films. These films are the films that came out in the in our heads.
Happening.
Yeah,
I mean, there was another one that came out at the time, bored me shitless. Jude Law was in it.
Oh yeah, what was that?
It was about that kid. It was a robot, and humanity died off. I think it was a Spielberg movie. I think it was called AI, actually.
Oh, I might have seen that.
I
don't remember it.
They got a kid. It was an android, and it had feelings. And then there was this whole thing of the world. Then human race died off. And they found a robot kid, and the aliens brought his parents back for a day. They cloned them.
All right.
And that what it films about 3.5 hours long. I mean, it is absolutely. I think it was called AI.
There was another one.
You'll have seen it.
Yeah, it sounds familiar, but there was another one with a female AI. She's a robot, and you see her, and she hasn't got.
Ex Machina.
I guess I couldn't stand that film. I couldn't get on with it at all. I thought it was shite.
I couldn't. Funny enough,
I just didn't like
bored
it.
Shitless.
I was really bored. I thought myself, I've got a copy of this. Shall I keep it? And I thought, no, I'm just going to just bin it.
Yeah, I watched it.
I thought it was shite.
I thought it was about her discovery, and then she murdered everybody. I mean, she did a rubber. It was like she broke her bounds of programming, and
I couldn't get on with it.
And I couldn't get on. I don't know what it was about. That film's been like quoted as being a highly intelligent movie.
I thought it was shite. I thought it was really. I just didn't.
I couldn't get on with it.
No, isn't it funny how we often have the same sort of perspective with certain films?
Yeah.
Both of us independently, because we've not talked about this film.
I thought
it was so boring.
But the Will Smith one, I could watch.
Oh no,
again.
Will Smith was. Oh no. I watched it again the other day, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was very. It's got a bit of humour. I do like Will Smith. I think he's a good actor. I just like the way he holds himself in these films. I know he's obviously, tarnished his image a bit with the Oscars thing a couple of years ago, but regardless of what he's done with that, I still think that a lot of his films I've seen I've thoroughly enjoyed and thought he was great in the role.
I've enjoyed his films.
But the, just the production was really good. It was obviously a lot of money was thrown into it. Obviously, if it had done really well, we would have got some sort of sequel. We never did. Actually, one thing I was confused about was the ending. The end of the last scene is where the main robot, whose name I can't remember, Sammy, was it Sonny? Sonny, I think his name was Sonny.
Sonny, yeah.
He at the end is I think he's by the Manhattan Bridge or something, and he's sort of standing there. And it's like, and then the robots, which are, they're going to be packaged, sort of like put back into crates and sort of stored because they've obviously had this thing. He stands there on a hill, and they all look to him like, and I thought it was almost like a religious metaphor of him being like sort of.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That's what it is, isn't it?
Because they've all started to become sentient.
Yeah, and it was almost like is their version of Jesus or God or something. Is that the way it was going with that?
That's what I assumed.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Because don't forget, Will Smith's character had the cyborg arm, didn't he?
Yes.
And
exactly.
he hated him. because didn't he have some accident?
He had an accident where he nearly drowned, and the robot had to choose between him and a little girl, and the little girl had more chance of dying, so the robot pulled him out of the water. And he was obviously very injured, and because of that, he had because of that. Yeah, that's what that sort of like story was. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's. I always like films where they predict the future, and of course, I think really it should have been set not in 2035 when they made this. They should have been set in that 2065.
2050.
Yeah, 2050 maybe.
But it was like Blade Runner 2. That were going down that path.
Yeah, but then Blade Runner 2 was based on Blade Runner 1, and Blade Runner 1 was made in the 80s, which was set in 2019, when it was 2018.
Yeah, but in the second one, which I'm a big fan of the movie, I love the film. What did they call it? The synthetic
replicants? Oh no.
Replicants, that's it. The android people, replicants.
Yeah. That's what they call it. Yeah.
One of them had a child.
That's right. Yes.
And it ended up where like they were becoming they were like a slave race, really, created to serve us. But they were becoming aware.
Well, we did review Blade Runner. I always think that Blade Runner has been one of the hardest films I've ever watched so many times to actually get to like. And I've only watched it about 20 times. I now like Blade Runner, and it's taken me a long time to get to say, I like Blade Runner. I struggled with it for many years, and now I like it. But I don't know why it's taken me so long to actually.
It took me.
Don't know why. It's really strange.
Yeah, it took me a long time to get into it. But the other thing as well about AI is Space Above and Beyond. They did it with the they had the AIs, the robot people, the silicates.
Oh, yes, they did, didn't they?
Yeah, it ended up where they were like serving. Then the scientists put into their main core programming, take a bet, take a risk, and it screwed all and they all became independent and started killing people because of one command that had been downloaded into them. And they ended up getting rights under law. In the end, because you find out that some of them live on Earth as independent. They've got rights.
That's it.
And it does make me wonder if we ever will get to that where we will create. First it's AI, and then it's robots. Then they're going to get more human.
I think we're at the stage now where we can pretty much guarantee. Don't forget, like when you talk to a phone, you say, "Hey Siri" or something. It's not. It's getting quite intelligent in understanding what you're asking and replying in a reasonable way. It's not perfect, but it's getting better. Now, all they're going to do is once they've designed a robot which is relatively easy to produce, which has got a relatively good battery, and if you could put on some of these AI technologies which are already starting to stand out, and we have talked about this before, I can definitely think that robots will be. I'd say I'd say 15 years, maybe 10 years, but I think in that period we're going to see a lot more AI in objects, not just your computer, not just Siri. You're going to get it in some capacities with something to do with stuff at home. It's quite amazing. You know, we really are getting quite into the future now.
There is one AI out there superior to everything.
What's that?
Talkie Toaster. But it's true.
Would anybody like any toast?
Comes out with the big quasi-enormous questions.
I saw,
comes out of toast.
I saw my in-laws at the weekend, and they've got a big red toaster. It's not a talkie toaster. And I said, "Oh, this looks like talkie toaster." They didn't know who talkie toaster was, but it did look like it was a big red toaster, and it looked just like talkie toaster. Yeah, I thought it was.
I'd but if they ever release one of them,
that would be a smash hit.
Yeah,
it would, especially if it learnt, and it would actually.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have to stop asking if you want toast every 5 minutes, though. Otherwise, people would smash it. But it would learn what.
I think you should finish this with Talkie Toaster. Because it's the ultimate in AI, isn't it? Talkie Toaster, isn't it?
I'll tell you what I'll put on. At the end of this, I'll put up the boot up scene where Talkie Toaster returns. I'll do it I'll try it with with YouTube copyright. I'll do a little quick scene with Talkie Toaster where he's booted up. I'll make it brief though, because YouTube's real shite when it comes to copyright, as you know. Any other things? Because I know we have been a bit around with this film, but it's just that this film is a catalyst for talking, or conduit to talking about other things like AI and stuff.
This film is the key to a lot of this.
Yeah.
Not actually, it's the book, which the film is based on. It's because Asimov. I mean, obviously the guy was a genius, and he was the one that defined the three laws of robotics. Have you not got them on Wikipedia?
What 3 laws of robotics?
Yeah. Well, they define AI, and that's such. He created the code. He was writing a science fiction book, and he ended up defining the 3 major laws of robotics.
But in reality, now they're going to be doing the major laws of production or creativity in AI. They're doing that now in many ways.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
and they're doing that right now in reality. So again, this film was way ahead of the book in respect of how things in fiction are slowly becoming things in reality.
There was another film that reminded me of this. It came out round about the same time. The one with Tom Cruise. The worlds look the same, where they predict murders. And a computer, a wood ball is set in the future, and Tom, what is it?
No, is it Bruce Willis? There's one with Bruce Willis.
No, it's Tom Cruise. And they go arrest somebody who's going to murder somebody, but he hasn't committed the crime
Minority
yet.
Report. Minority Report.
That's it. The world of that, looking at that world.
That's another one. I need that. That's a good one. Yeah. I hadn't thought about the link of that. Nice one, Martin. Minority Report is another one I need to check out.
I love the cars with the wheels.
What, in this
roads?
In
the cars, which just.
Yeah, because he's got like an Audi, and it's got like the wheels are there, but they're kind of behind this weird kind of metallic kind of covering.
Like balls out there. And the cars can go.
I don't think they're hovering though. I think they are actually on the ground with wheels.
Oh, they actually hovering?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Because some scenes they look like they're actually they're gliding along, and other scenes because they're quite low to the ground, you can't tell whether they're hovering. So I don't know whether they are hovering. Or whether
check that out.
I don't know. Like I said, I did watch this over the weekend. I'm just looking at some other information about this before we sort of wrap things up. It says in an interview in June 2007 with the website Collider at a Battlestar Galactica event, writer and producer Ponald Moore stated that he was writing a sequel to the film I, Robot. In the 2-disc all-access collector's edition of their film, Alex Perez mentions that if he were to make a sequel to the film, which he says in the same interview is highly unlikely, it would have been set in outer space. So I don't know why that would be set in space.
I think he made his sequel, didn't he?
What was that?
I think he made Ronald D. Moore. Got his sequel.
Oh, you mean Battlestar? Well, yeah. Actually, I don't think it was. No, it was Ronald D. Moore. Go on. Yes, it was.
I have to say, Galactica is one of them things I like to tune into odd episodes, the new one. I like certain things I like to watch. But in the final episode, it does finish with
I like the final
the
episode.
Boltzart Angel and number 6
Yeah, on
walking
Earth.
down
Yes,
Fifth
yes,
Avenue.
Yeah, I know they did.
and
yeah,
you see the robots and all that and
yeah,
the
yeah,
AI.
yeah.
And he says they're doing it again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Everyone hated
I
the end
didn't
of it.
realise
I
how
like that.
prevalent
I thought that was really
at
clever.
the time.
Yeah, I thought it was
It
really clever.
I didn't really think that much about it.
But it's more
when I
prevalent
watched-
now. Now it's more prevalent when you watched it back
oh,
then.
Yeah, now it just hits the nail.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It,
it-
wasn't so
it's
evident
the
back
nail.
then. It wasn't so
Yeah,
evident when you
yeah.
watched it in 2004.
No, it
whatever
wasn't.
Yeah.
I think it will. Yeah, it just didn't. I didn't really. I thought, yeah, all right. You put in your message,
But
and then today, when you watch that scene and they go, they're doing it again. It does make you wonder.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I think that's
I think we're going to merge with technology. I think in generations to come,
Borg. I think we're going to be something not
I
not
think
like.
we're going to all enhance.
I think
ourselves and not-
eventually
yeah.
we'll have something mechanical, something artificial in our bodies. It's like I know it's not exactly the same analogy, but obviously tattoos now are very popular, especially down here. And you see
Yeah.
people walking
Oh,
along
they are,
with
yeah.
all these like psychedelic ink things all over
Yeah,
their
well,
arms.
they'll be like nanites
and
on your arm
it's
or
like
something.
it's not biological, but it's obviously a foreign aspect into their own body, even though it's only
Yeah,
ink.
yep.
So
Yep.
I could see how in the future, obviously it's not ink, but it's more of a foreign object put into your body.
Definitely.
So I
Yeah.
could see that already as a sort of a very weak linked,
I
but a
don't
slight
think we'll
signpost.
be like marching around like Robocop. I think it'll all be inside. It'll be all nanite type technology inside.
It'd be like $6 million Man or something.
Yeah. You'll
It's
be
not
able
so
to,
evident.
your mind will be just able to tune into internet if you want.
Oh yeah, you'd
information
probably be
and
able to
stuff.
sort of think like, and then I don't know. It'd be weird. Maybe you could think and then think I want to open this door, and the door will open because it will have a sensor from a chip in your brain, sensing you wanting to open the
that. It's
door.
a bit dodgy that though, isn't it?
Yeah, but
I mean,
it's all
because-
dodgy. That's the problem. That's what's so scary about
I
that.
mean, we all put chips in our heads, and then suddenly we've got super intelligence controlling us all like drones.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at the Borg now, and that's not becoming science fiction anymore, is it?
No,
You
no,
know what I mean?
no. I mean, this is the thing that Star Trek did for the
I'm
AI.
going to build a time machine and go back to the 80s. We had 3 channels and Sky Television. Things were simpler back then.
Yeah, but but the only bad thing about the 80s was that we had Russell Grant on BBC Breakfast News every morning doing the star signs and everything like that. Oh my
Yeah, I
God!
remember that.
And Frank Boff and Stuart Hall and Rolf Harris and Jimmy Savile and stuff.
Yeah, Mr. Mr. Motivator.
Oh yeah, Mr. Motivator.
Mhm,
God,
yeah.
we did that, didn't we? We did a feature on him years ago.
He got splattered by a predator. Yeah.
Yeah,
Did he win?
yeah.
Did he defeat the predator?
I think he tried to do some chest pumps or something, and the predator.
Yeah, then I think he got vaporized,
splattered. Yeah, I
didn't
think he
he?
got a laser in his head. So let's wrap this up. So let's rate this out of 10. What would you rate it out of 10?
You might be surprised. I'm gonna give it an 8.
I know I've been agreeing with you a lot recently, but I'm going to give you the same. I think 8's a good number. Yeah, it's a solid film.
Yeah, I can't give
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
a 10.
I'm not,
I
yeah.
don't
No.
know why.
I don't think it's more than 8, but I think it's worth an 8. I think I agree.
Yeah, that's as far as I can go.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
this.
I agree. I think it's a solid film. I thoroughly enjoyed it. If you've not seen it, check it out. It's well worth your time, especially, and I think it's more prudent seeing it now in 2023 than it was in
Yeah,
2004. And it's a good production, well acted, good special effects, good CGI for its time. Yeah, give it a go. All right, Martin. I'm going to show you. We've got a few minutes before Zoom runs. Actually, I'll try and get on this link of this. This foundation thing.
Actually, YouTube might cut it out. You know.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm not going to. I'll tell you what we'll
Sorry,
do.
guys, we're not going to.
No,
because
it's not-
YouTube might, sick of it.
I will review it and then I will talk about it with you next week, Martin. I think
Yeah,
that's the
I think
safest
that's
way to go.
probably-
Sorry, mate. I'd like to do it,
no.
but we're going to end then with a very quick thing from Red Dwarf, Talkie Toaster, because
Yeah.
you can't go wrong with Talkie Toaster.
Thousands of years of evolution into that.
Yeah, and we could have a Talkie Toaster within the next 10 years. I guarantee you. You watch this 10 years' time, you might have a Talkie Toaster next to your monitor.
Going out of the window.
Would anybody like any toast? Martin, thank you very much. That was a really good episode this week. Good conversation. Next week, we're going to focus on a slightly different sort of subject of meteorites hitting the Earth and how humanity.
Yeah,
can stop
classic.
that.
Yeah, what a cast as well.
Yeah, and good music, and I love the boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom.
Yeah.
And that, like, it sounds like something from the motion picture, but I just
Yeah, no, it does. I noticed that one. I watched it over
Yeah,
there. I
it's-
thought,
it's-
oh,
it's
God,
really-
it's motion picture.
It's very motion picturesque. It
Yeah.
must be the same instruments. All right, Martin, thank you very much. We'll catch you next week on the Solo
Yes.
One Sci-Fi Podcast.
To Life
John Foster.
Immortal.
To Life Immortal.
Hello? Can you hear me? Oh, no, of course not. I haven't engaged your verbal systems.
Howdy doodly do. How's it going? I'm Talkie. Talkie Toaster, your chirpy breakfast companion. Talkie's the name, toasting's the game. Anyone like any toast?
Look, I don't want any toast, and he doesn't want any toast. In fact, no one around here wants any toast. Not now, not ever. No toast.
How about a muffin?
Or muffins. We don't like muffins round here. We want no muffins, no toast, no tea cakes, no buns, baps, baguettes or bagels, no croissants, no crumpets, no pancakes, no potato cakes, and no hot cross buns, and definitely no Smeggen flapjacks.
Ah, so you're a waffle man.